Hello, welcome and thank you so much for joining us on Moving Forward with Pastor Sarah, the Senior Pastor of Family Worship Center, the amazing woman of God who brings you His word concerning your marriage, family and individual life.
God's word will change your life, give you victory over every challenging situation, and make you the best you He has designed you to be. Find out how in 15 minutes on Moving Forward with Pastor Sarah on this station. Stay tuned.
Welcome back. Last week, Pastor Sarah concluded the series How to Love God with part 4. Here are some key takeaways. If we love God, we should serve Him with our lives faithfully. We shouldn't waste time on things that don't honor Him. Whatever we do should be an opportunity to serve God. We show our love for God by loving others. Unity proves we are His children. We love God by sharing Him with others and helping them grow in their faith. Loving God sometimes means making sacrifices and not always insisting on our rights. We must stand up for the gospel, defend the helpless, and speak out against injustice. No amount of wealth or success can bring true joy. Only loving God can. Our love for God should be strong, unwavering, and priceless. Loving God should be our goal, our mission, and our lifelong pursuit. It's a new week. Let's stay tuned as Pastor Sarah brings us something fresh. The times we're in call for wisdom and intentional living. What a perfect moment for this profound message. Living wisely, intentionally. Enjoy listening.
Proverbs chapter 4 verse 7. Wisdom is the principal thing. Therefore, get wisdom. Because wisdom is the principal thing, get it. And in all your getting, get understanding. Exalt her. Exalt wisdom. She will promote you. She will bring you honor when you embrace her. She will place on your head an ornament of grace. A crown of glory she will deliver to you. Underline the things wisdom will give you. Wisdom will exalt you. Wisdom will promote you. Wisdom will bring you honor. Wisdom will place an ornament of grace upon you, and wisdom will give you glory. Luke chapter 12, verse 15. And he said to them, take heed and beware of covetousness, for one's life does not consist in the abundance of the things he possesses. Then he spoke a parable to them, saying, the ground of a certain rich man yielded plentifully. And he thought within himself, saying, what shall I do? So every time you see I and my, underline it. And he thought within himself, saying, what shall I do, since I have no more room to store my crops, my. So he said, I will do this. I will pull down my barns and build greater. And there I will store all my crops and my goods. And I will say to my soul, so you have many goods laid up for many years. Take your ease, eat, drink, and be merry. But God said to him, what did God say? This night your soul will be required of you. Then whose will those things be which you have provided? So is he who lays up treasures for himself and is not rich towards God. Ephesians chapter 5, verse 15. See then that you walk circumspectly, not as fools, but redeeming the time, because the days are. Therefore do not be unwise, but understanding what the will of the Lord is. Intentional living should guide our thoughts and actions, that nothing about you is casual. Nothing about you is taken for granted. That you are living intentionally. You are dressing intentionally. You are eating intentionally. You are sleeping time intentional. Your waking time intentional. Everything is intentional. Nothing left to chance. No decision or action should be taken casually. We must be deliberate. Like we saw in Ephesians, living circumspectly as wise, not as fools. To live circumspectly is to be cautious. It is to examine all the circumstances that may affect a decision or a measure you want to take or adopt. It is to live carefully, to examine every decision or measure you want to take. That is what it means to live circumspectly. It is to literally look at all sides before making a decision. You don't look at one side, you look at all sides. You look at your side, you look at people's side, you look at God's side, and you look at how this decision is going to affect you. To be circumspect is to pay attention to all the facts with a view to correct a course of conduct in order to avoid danger or a terrible consequence. Therefore, as a Christian, you must always stop and think carefully. Look at all the sides, consider all the facts and the possible consequences, and then find out what the will of God is. What does the Bible say about that thing before taking a decision? Because your utmost as a Christian is to live by the standards of the Bible. Shun foolishness. Be wise. To be able to shun foolishness and to be wise, wisdom is principal, like we saw. And we've already seen what wisdom will do. It will exalt you, promote you, it will put a crown on your head, and it will give you honor. Foolishness, on the other hand, will lead you to shame and pain. Foolishness always leads to pain and shame. There are some decisions you take and think that I have the right to take them. But when the consequences hit you, are like, no, but this was not what I planned for. But see, when you were taking them, you thought you were in control. So, foolishness will always bring you pain and shame at the end. There are two people in the Bible categorically called fools. One in the Old Testament and one in the New Testament. And both of them were men. And one of the things I found out in the course of doing this study and research is that foolishness is associated with a dissociation from God. It is self-confidence. It is thinking outside of God. The first person that was called a fool in the Bible is called Nabal, the husband of Abigail. He threw a party, got drunk, was celebrating his wealth, and forgot to acknowledge the deliverance God wrought for him through David, and actually despised and insulted David when he asked for some supplies. No matter what you do in life, never forget anybody who has helped you. That's wisdom. Always remember. Don't say, is it because of the 10,000 naira you gave me? If you want, I can give you 1 million. No, when you gave you that 10,000, it was more than 1 million. That 10,000 could have cost you your life or the life of your child. Don't despise or look down on any help that helped you at one point. So, he said, who are these little boys that are asking for help? Some of these people can just run away from their masters and be claiming that they helped me. And David came to kill him. But then Abigail intercepted. So he forgot the deliverance God wrought for him and despised it, insulting David. And David was fleeing from trouble. And of course, this singular act of Nabal had a terrible consequence because he died. And the sad thing about his dying was that he left the things he was bragging. He left all the wealth. He left it. The second person that was called a fool is the rich fool. The Bible actually just called him the rich fool, where we read. So you can be rich and be a fool. Isn't that amazing? We always look at rich people and we honor them and all, but in God's eyes, some of them are fools. The rich fool. So it's not everybody who has money, lives in a big house, drives fantastic cars that is smart in the eyes of God. The Bible calls this one a rich fool. This year, God blessed him with a bumper harvest. More than he expected. Too much that he didn't even have enough storage room because he didn't plan. Never. So he planned to knock down his barns and build bigger new ones. But he failed to find out the purpose for which God allowed that bumper harvest. And anytime you do not find out the purpose of a blessing, you are going to misuse it. Write that down. Anytime you do not find out the purpose of a thing, you will abuse it. So they just paid you 10 million of your arrears or something. And you think it's your money. You have not asked God. If you do not ask God, you are going to misuse it. God does not bless us so that we store it in the bank for ourselves for our future. Write that down. God does not bless us so that we store it in the bank for ourselves in the future. He always has somebody or some people in mind every time he blesses you. You are always only supposed to be a steward, holding in trust anything he gives you, pending when he will direct you on how to distribute it or disburse it. In the case of Nabal, God had blessed him because he knew David was going to come. And he wanted to stop that. The rich fool didn't even give us an opportunity to know how God wanted the money to be used, because God judged him immediately. So whenever God puts something in your hands, listen for the assignment. Listen for the assignment. This is so key. I need you to know this as a human being. That whenever God puts money or resources in your hand, there is an assignment attached to it. It is not all about you. In both cases, whether it was Nabal or the rich fool, there was an assignment, there was a reason, there was a purpose for the money.
There's always an assignment, a reason or purpose for whatever God blesses us with. We just need to listen to His direction on how to use it wisely. The message, living wisely intentionally, continues tomorrow. Don't forget to join Pastor Sarah.
The world is filled with bad news, fear, and anxiety, but God's timeless word brings good news of hope and victory. Join Pastor Sarah Omakwu on Wells Radio 89.3 FM Ibadan and learn how to win a life using God's word every Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday at 7:45 p.m. Moving forward with Pastor Sarah on this station. Don't miss it.
Thank you for listening. If you've been blessed by this program, we would like to hear from you. Call 0701 951 9554 or send us an email at info@fwcabuja.org. If you're searching for a home church in Ibadan, we meet at Family Worship Center, top floor, Johnny Complex, NW4 345 Iyaolobe Street, Eko Tedo, Dugbe, Ibadan. Service time 8 a.m. In Ile-Ife, Ilaramokin Hall, Iloramu, before Ambassadors College, Ile-Ife. In Osogbo, Favored Emmanuel Plaza, beside Favored Emmanuel Hospital, Zone 5, Oke-Arogbo, back of Capital Hotel Estate, Osogbo. In Oyo Town, Ade Asakin House, Abiodun Atigba Road, Idi Okbe, Oyo. You can locate other branches and also listen to Pastor Sarah's messages when you visit our website at www.fwcabuja.org. Once again, thank you for listening. Moving Forward with Pastor Sarah will continue tomorrow, same time on this station. God bless you.